Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Grand Rising. What a beautiful day. It has cooled off. I am feeling very energetic and great today. It is July the 19th, and it is
Uh,
rolling on out of here.
your 18th,
Oh,
yes.
18th. It's Thursday. I'm looking at, okay. I,
Pushing us on.
tomorrow's Queen of Duty show. Okay, we're gonna move right along because I really want to get to our guest. So I usually start out by reading tarot cards. And so this is the Mythical Goddess Tarot. Again, and I did a 3-card pull today. And very, very interesting. Let me get my glasses on so I can make sure I can read it good. Okay. So the first goddess is Crone Woman, Sacred Law. Yeah. All right. Crone Woman of Native America is the guardian of sacred law, wielding true justice and the highest principle of right and wrong. Crow is the creator of the world, and her domain is the great void from which all is conceived and kept inviolate. Inviolate. The eye of the crow is the interdimensional gateway to the silence and the great mystery. She can shape shift her form into anything she desires. Woman is Libran, balance, and justice. She honors the feminine and teaches that all things are born of woman. Crow is objective, her reason pure and unswayed by emotional flux. Her form is multidimensional, and as gatekeeper to other worlds, she navigates the worldly chaos of non-attachment and objectivity. She holds the balance of the soul's divinity on earth, on the earth walk. Through Crow Woman's equilibrium and attunement to perfect order, you are shown to respect your genuine essence in alignment with your highest understanding of sacred truth. Crow teaches you to honor your boundaries and trust the creative void from which all the solutions of your problems dwell. She urges you to shift the shape of your current circumstances to be in sync with your own sacred nature and never compromise the truth of who you are.
Woo! Powerful word. Powerful word.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes. I love that. And the second one, oh, they came out of here. Doggone it. It's funny how the second and third card are of the fire element, and they're on opposite pages of each other. So it's fire of integrity. Isn't she beautiful? I love the colors. Yeah. So she's the sun, moon, and Sagittarius. This glorious full spectrum goddess embodies wholeness and power. She is a shining example of integrity that comes from the alignment and commun, communion of all aspects of her being. She has achieved the wholesome balance of the female and male within herself and radiates with the creative force of this union. This fiery rainbow goddess is here to celebrate the integrity that you now own in this life. Aspects of your essence that have long laid dormant are now surfacing for full expression. Dominant personality traits are falling away as your being integrates with the source of who you are. You are now on the path of communion and the wholeness so that you may live in integrity and cohesive power in all that you do. I do love tarot. It's always so on point. And I feel that's what's going on with the community, you know. So the last card is fire. Now this is self-destruction. So self-destruction is Saturn in Sagittarius. This rattlesnake, with her fixed gaze, brings her venom of fire as a danger sign that cannot be ignored. An immediate change of behavior is essential, or you will feel this rattlesnake's bite with the venom close behind. Okay? This viper is warning you that you are on a path of self-destruction. Your chronic inner struggle has led to exhaustion and debilitating burnout. What danger signs have you been ignoring? You must redirect your will from its destructive inward attack. Are you allowing others to assist you in your self-annihilation? Let the powerful transmuting power of Snake turn this behavior around. She is inviting you to align with her fire transformative energy of creation and break the cycle of self-destruction that you find yourself in. Okay, now come on. That's speaking to me right there, right there. Anybody else that's speaking to? Yes. Right. Self-destruction. Yes.
I'm confused. I feel confused because one is wholeness and the other is self-destruction. And then the first one, you say crow woman? Mm-hmm. Being able to go and reach and find the answers within yourself. So I don't know. Maybe they're all three. If they're all together, that's better.
Yeah, I mean, for me, especially the third one is if I keep ignoring the signs that I'm to change the way I'm doing things, then I will self-destruct. That really resonates with me. It really resonates with me. Okay, so now the pièce de résistance. We have the beautiful Jahra McKinney, and she is going to tell us about birthing her babies. I met Jahra. I told we were reminiscing way back when Sheena went to Waldorf. It all started with Waldorf, I'm telling you. And she was with Hakama and came, and we had I think an African festival or some sort of I'm not sure, but she performed with Hakama. And that's where I met her and Sumara and Amal. And I forget the fourth lady's name because I haven't really
Piper,
Piper. Oh, yes, Piper.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, Piper was there.
She's an ancestor now, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember she used to stay in the village. And
yes, right down the street.
Yeah, she used to have things at her house. I remember her, yes. Okay, so without further ado, Miss Jahra McKinney.
Well, greetings, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. And I know most of you. I don't think I've met Sharonda yet, but it's nice to meet you. My path has gone back so far as to me sitting on the basement steps and telling Spirit I wanted to be a nun because I was so impressed by the nuns, their sisterhood, and how they really ran everything. The priests go woofa woofa, but the nuns were the ones who had hands on. They were talking to us, and providing classes and opportunities for us inner city kids. And now I realize that it was pretty patronizing, because to be thought of as a mission child but I didn't know about that then. And I did benefit from watching them be a sisterhood. And that's what I wanted for myself. I wanted to be part of a sisterhood.
Mhm.
And as I sat in the basement steps in the dark, telling Holy One that was what I wanted to be, Holy One just laughed at me and said, "Oh no, you ain't gonna be nobody's nun, but you will find sisterhood." And so it just kind of went along those lines. I realized I had a special connection to spirit because I could actually converse. I mean, that's some of my highest spirituality moments in my life, where I actually talked and I could feel what spirit was saying to me. And that has pretty much guided me a lot in my storytelling sisterhood quest. Because also with the Catholics, my mother was she was the choir master director, but she was the accompanist, and we had a director, Joyce Jackson, and it was really a wonderful incubator for hooking up with spirit. And through that community group of that Catholic church, St. Agnes Church, that's where I met my first African drummer, King Sundiata Keita, who my mother instituted. She was the first person I knew of in the Catholic archdiocese who had Black history programs, because she didn't like how they were making us so white. You know, that's what she called it. They were inundating us with their culture. And she said, no, this is the 60s. There's the movement, the civil rights movement. These kids don't know anything about that. You need to have Black History Month. And they said, we're not qualified to do that, Ms. Mahal. Why don't you take that over? And that was it. It was like somebody lit a fire, and it was a spiritual fire. That's where I met Garland Jaggers, talking about Black Catholicism and how we had to come together as Blacks in that religion for it to feed us truly. And I met Sharikiana Aina, who with her husband, Jarema, I'm messing up his name, but they did this movie called Sankofa, about reaching back. And that movie, oh my God, that was another life changer, seeing the reality of slavery and realizing that we were before we were enslaved. And I started trying to collect the stories of Africa because I had a yearning after that. It was a actual physical, uncomfortable emptiness of ignorance. And I really had to feel that. So my life coming together in community through my Black heritage, African heritage, and trying to discover it. Sorry, the neighbors are waking up. So we're having a soundtrack today. But yeah, the search for my African self and my African sisters led me to do African dance and enroll my children in African-centered schools and go to the Alexander Crummell Center. I don't know how many of you all knew about the Crummell Center. Have any of you all ever attended that?
No.
That was Mommy Imani's baby, and her son Cheo Pili, who was the minister. And that was a family that really galvanized the whole Detroit culture, the African consciousness culture here in Detroit. So through Imani and the church and the African-centered schools, yes.
Yeah, was that Imani? Was it always that name, or did it change?
Alexander Crummell Center.
It was over by on
oh Lord, I don't know what street it was on. I was very young then when I was going, so I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I had too many babies. But yes, it was a Episcopalian centered church, and they did a lot of reaching back Sankofa work
Mhm.
to connect us, and Aisha Shule School was born out of the
Oh,
Alexander Crummell Center.
that's what I know, Aisha Shule. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And then from Aisha Shule, Baba Malik was the one of the head teachers. I guess he was like a second principal, assistant principal, and him and Imani had differences on how they should run the school. So he branched out, and in Saroma was begun,
Oh, wow.
and then also, and they were still friends, but that was its sister school. And then she went on and did a high school, W.E.D. Du Bois, and from then, it just bloomed. I mean, we had what's that? I'm trying to remember it. It's not Tutankhamun. It's the place far, far away in Africa. Oh gosh, I actually taught there. I can't remember the name of the school.
Mhm.
I'm having a senior moment. But the schools began to proliferate, and they were supporting the mothers who were in the African dance movement. So we were creating our own costumes. We were learning the heritage and history of the dances, and and ritual, and how the dances hooked up to the people's spirituality through Baba Ali and the Studio of African Dance Philosophy. And so the community really nurtured, and my own artistry that was begun by being my mother's choir member at St. Agnes, where we did spirituals and the Black um, spirituality that began here in the United States, which was a combination of the European and the African, the spirituals. My mother's ministry of music was based in spirituals and reaching back to make that music part of the liturgy of the Black Catholic Church.
Mhm.
So it was quite a wonderful journey. At the time, after I left my mother's home and went to Wayne, I got involved with WDET. And being in there, I would research African stories, because I was a storyteller from always, as long as I can remember. And that was a turning point. Project Bait trained me how to be a radio person. I got my own show, Everywhere Music Goes, and I started singing with my husband Harold. But then he decided he didn't want to do bars anymore, and he did not want to do what he did in his first marriage, which was have him and his wife be a duo. He wanted to be a solo act, and he was channeling music from spirit, and that was where his ministry lay. So he had to start composing. He began seriously composing, and so that left me at loose ends. I didn't have anything for myself. So that's when I began to do the chants that I was learning in African dance companies, and performing them as ritual when I was taught by Modibo Keita to do shekere.
Mhm.
So my sisters who were in the class with me was all women, because the men weren't teaching us how to play the djembe. That's really what I wanted to play, was the djembe. And they said, well, that's like a woman having a penis. What do you mean? That's only for men. And how dare you? And I'm not going to show you shit. you know, that hurt.
I
I
know.
said, because to me, it was a spiritual urge that was driving me to express myself in African centered music. So I leaped at the chance when Modibo said, well, I'll show you all this instrument called the shekere. And that's when I got these gourds. Yeah. Yeah, these gourds, man. And they were so sacred, being on the inside of the gourd. you could put the gourd in moonlight. And this is, I'm speaking from experience. We would clean these beautiful gourds and that had these voices. And we would, after they were beaded and everything, we would leave them out on a full moon. And for like the day before the full moon and the full moon itself, a couple of days, and then the day after. So for like these 4 or 5 days, we would just leave the gourd outside and imagine it being filled with moonlight, and that it was a sacred light that could heal. It was a woman-centered light, a silvery light, that when you were in trouble, or when you were depressed, or you were having moments of alienation, or whatever the problem was, you could take your gourd and tip it up, and you could drink a bit of that moonlight. And I swear it was a physical sensation of, you know how when you drink really cold water and it kind of flows through your body?
Yeah.
We would have those kinds of experiences. And the women who were in this group, I got tired of Modibo calling us his girls. Hey, this is Modibo's girls. I taught them, they are mine. I said, I'm sorry. You may have taught us, but we are women. And we have our own vibe. You know, this instrument is ours. And I'm sorry, we are your girls. Yeah, that's right. But we are much more than your girls. And he says, well, what name are you going to put on that? And I said, just give me a moment. I'm going to research it. So I researched it, and I found there were a group of women who were judges. I don't know if you remember in the Bible, they had these prophets who were the judges. I think Samuel was one of them. The guy that they cut his hair, and Samson, he was one of them. There were judges in the Hebrews who they didn't have prisons per se, but they had these judges that would tell the people, they would prophesy and talk about you, and you better get your stuff together, whatever it was. So they shaped their society in a almost a ritualistic way. So that's what these women were. And women were judges before men. When the matriarchal societies were queen goddesses in Africa, this is where the Hakama arose from, this tradition of the matriarchy. And these women were spiritual women who knew the story of their people, and they would come together and they would sing and tell stories, and they were the griots or the jailis of the people, and they were at the Jebel, which just means mountain, or the Jebel Mara. I'm starting to forget. And at this mountain, at the base of this mountain, it was rich volcanic earth, and these were the women who sustained these people. So if you made a mistake and error, they would make up a song about you, and they would teach it to the little children, so that every time you stepped your foot out the door, you would hear your special song. And the kids would tease you with it all day long, whatever you did during that day. So people did not want a song made up about them, telling of their misdeeds and how they had sinned against the community. So people began to be on the straight and narrow. And these women were called Hakama, women of wise words. And so I brought this back to the women and asked them, okay, sister girls, we know this instrument, and I feel that we have a calling in our community. And this was Hakama was the being made real from that conversation I had with the Holy One sitting in the basement in the dark. It was the flowering of the promise that I would have a sisterhood. I didn't have to be a nun. I could get some. But have babies, have love, and have my sisterhood. And that's what it turned into. We began to play at funerals and weddings. Very powerful people passed through Hakama rituals. we did storytelling with it at schools, at the African-centered schools. And then the Detroit Public Schools start asking for us because people were going back telling their principals, their other schools about it. So before you know it, we had a circuit in the Detroit Public Schools. And then we also had a circuit in our community at important events. We would sing and play our shekarays. And we did grow beyond Modibo, who unfortunately seemed like after we were launched, and he took us to Chicago and had us blessed by the women in our community in Chicago. There's a sisterhood who plays gourds in Chicago also.
Yeah.
And so he showed us to them, and we actually became a Midwest sisterhood with the Chicago and the Ann Arbor and every place Mo took us and introduced us. We became sisters with whoever those sisters were. And we began to play for the African dance companies. Penny would have us play for her Afro-Cuban. And I also play now for Lisa, her Afro-Cuban classes, Lisa McCall. And there have been other people, Karen Prawl. And so we became an integral part of the fabric of the community. And then when we began to sing reggae, that incorporated us into another community. So we've been going through the communities, the jazz community. My husband Harold said, "Wow, this is real," and so I played with him and some of his stuff. And Roy Brooks took us on in his Aboriginal percussion choir,
Wow.
and we became even allied with women's percussion ensemble that Safia made real. Safia Sakani. We also finally became drummers also. So it was a woman-centered percussion movement in Detroit that grew, and it fed us, it fed our children. And I mean, in all ways, we got gigs to actually buy food, but we also got fed spiritually because I'll never forget, we did something at Detroit Unity Temple in their Rainbow Hall. We had a ritual that the Catholic nuns, and here we go full circle, they recognized that a lot of the Catholic ritual came out of Africa, and that the things that Hakama was doing was reaching back for our heritage, they began to recognize the kinship between the Catholic ritual and what the Hakama were doing. So they asked us to do a special ritual for them. It wasn't very many of them. It had to be maybe 9 people, and it was us. So we processed in with our June, playing the June and the shekere and singing. And then we got up there and did a hymn to Hapi. Hapi is an Egyptian deity who is for women. She's for childbirth. You can look her up, Hapi. And we did a hymn to Hapi for these women, these white women who felt disconnected. They were losing their schools. They were losing their what do they call it? It begins with a V. The vicar. They were losing. No, it was it's the small local groups of Catholics. And I'm sorry, it's like the parishes. So they were losing that because the Black people were turning away from the mission-oriented feel of those schools. And they were, and so they were kind of left with nothing to do. A lot of their parishes were leaving. So they came to be ritualized and to be blessed, and to be blessed into other work. besides education. And so we performed this ritual, and I'm telling you, the goddess came. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had as a Hakama. And we were anointed that day too. And we all started weeping. I mean, I didn't even know I was crying. My face is the water was like literally dripping out of my eyes. And it wasn't salty. It was just felt like water. I mean, water was coming out of everybody's eyes, that it was streaming out of our eyes. Our clothes became wet with tears. And the water, is sacred. The tears are sacred to Hapi. And oh my God, we cried from the beginning of that ritual to the end of that ritual. Wow. And it was one of the most powerful experiences I ever had. It was a cleanse. Yeah. We were all cleansed by these tears. And so we finished our ritual, and each one of those women came up to us and touched us afterwards. You know how people touch the ground in front of the drummers when they finish drumming in our African tradition. They didn't know that tradition, but they did it. And they blessed us, and told us that we had blessed them. And that was the end. So Hakama became anointed after that ritual. And it seemed that when we called, the spirits came. And Ruby, a friend of ours, Ruby Anita Jones, she had another movement like that. It's called the excarnation of Ruby. I think it was Ruby Woods.
Yes,
so
her grandmother, yes.
That was another, oh my God. We were trying to record it. It wouldn't record. But another voice came on, and it was Ruby's voice. And she said a psalm out of the Bible that was not present in the show. It was on the tape. So we've had so many mystical experiences ever since Hapi came and baptized us. We had so many beautiful spiritual, unexplainable experiences that came through playing the shekere and that gourd. So the storytelling that I began to do in the community came with life changes, like a wedding, a death, a naming ceremony, a birthing. So those kinds of things became our soul's expression. And so out of that, we began to create compose our own music. We made Piper was really good at putting together songs for all the 4 gourds, and became 7 gourds with my children added. And then people started to pass away. So Mama Sumara, she was the purest of voices, and she left first. And then my children left. They moved away, grew up and moved away and married, had children of their own, but they didn't go back to their how I had raised them, their African centeredness. And my dear friend Piper, she passed away just about 1.5 years ago now. And so so when she left, I became a Hakama of one. And so now I was talking to Mama Shashu about I would like to start it up and keep it as a tradition with younger women and train them and so that I won't forget all of the lessons and things that I've learned, and that I could still honor that anointing that we had. So that's where I am right now with Hakama. Um, I've I've met some people. I've talked to Queen Aduni here also, you know, and other people who may be interested. But because I'm also doing this archiving thing, I'm creating an institution called the Detroit Sound Conservancy. And a conservancy is just a group of people trying to coming together to honor and give support to the community for something the community really needs. And that's what a conservancy is. And so they have the Riverfront Conservancy. So we also have the Detroit Sound Conservancy, because there were so many people like my husband, Harold McKinney, who gave so much to this community. And when he died, and his work was underwater in the flood, and I have no idea to this day how long, because I hadn't gone in the basement for 3 months after he died, 3 months after he died, and the water was knee high in the basement, and it was covering the music that, you know, the file cabinets with his music. So I lost maybe 2/3, maybe 3/4 of this man's compositions. They were in those drawers underwater. So there's no they're written in pencil. So, and they're on paper. So it's gone. So I went and started begging the repositories that were around here to help me see if I could dry out the music somehow. His studio tapes had mold on them, you know, of his original music. And so I'm trying my best to save it. And they all told me no, either because we don't collect Black people. He ain't nobody special to us, even though he did perform here at the DIA or wherever. He's just a local guy, and we don't collect local people. And or else they say, we don't have the money. You need about 50 grand to save this stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to go apply for grants. And meanwhile, we can't hold it for you because we don't have the space or the capacity. So that's when I said, well, we need a music conservancy to save the voices and the legacy of these people who are in Detroit. Detroit is a music city. It's known throughout the world, and it has influenced music all over the world. So me and a guy, I was in the founding members of the Detroit Sound Conservancy. And to this day, my husband's stuff still has not been saved because I have not been able to get a grant. I have not been able to raise the $50,000 that I need to do the mold remediation and to try to see if I can get the notes off of the paper. So it's in bins, it's dry now, but it's still got the mold, and I'm still working on that project. But that's where I am, you know. I'm reinventing. I'm going to get that music saved, and I'm going to perform that sacred music. And so I think the best way is to go to the people that he had worked with and ask them, do they have his scores? And that's how I'm doing it. I got a score just a few months ago from Mickey Braden. She was one of Harold's music directors back in the day. She had his score to the Nguzo Saba. That was one of the scores that was ruined in the basement. So I have that score now with all the parts in it, with the choir, everything. So I'm gonna mount that up. I'm giving myself through 2025, and I'm gonna remount that sacred music and produce it. So those are the things that where I am now, and I realize that the community has changed so much that I'm not sure Hakama is still relevant. I'm not sure. And so it would be proven to me through if I can gather the women together again, the sisterhood together again to do it, and to the community to once again feel the need to call us, to call upon us. So my children are not any longer in an African-centered community. many of the children that came through the Aisha Shule and Timbuktu, and that's the school I taught at, Timbuktu, in Soroma. A lot of those children are not in the African-centered movement anymore, but there's still a few of us left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if Hakama is going to be relevant to those that are left and those that are still attracted to that lifestyle. But I'm going to see what Spirit says.
Wow.
So that's where my griot hood is right now. Yeah, see, she got her guard. Woo, 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 woo.
And now,
oh my God, that's beautiful.
yeah,
what a wonderful job.
I didn't do it. I found it at the festival.
Well, I'll help you with that. I want to work on that little one because I've just started this one that I have, and it's not it's very old, so I know it's very easily broken if I had to be very careful with it. She's an old girl, but she has one of the most beautiful shekere voices I have ever heard.
Wow.
And maybe that's where I am right now.
Yeah. On this one, I had it. I had cowrie shells. I made my makeshift one, but I play it really hard, and I hit it hard and throw it up and stuff like that. And so I had to have something that could endure. I'm sure this will endure what I want to do. I did play it one night. I walked into, what is the name of that place? Yeah, anyway, that night actually that I had bought it. And there was a brother that was playing on the congas and stuff. And I just joined in with him. I had a wonderful time with this, my tambourine, and the other one, they're just shells. I don't know. I have to learn the name of all that, but I had a wonderful time. I just get into my world, Yeah.
It is a world.
Yeah.
And though the gourd has broken that I used to drink moonlight from, I feel that it's time to do that ritual again and raise these sacred sisters to do it again. I'd be so pleased if you would come in and learn that with it. Yeah.
I'm in.
Yes.
Juanita has a question.
So thanks again, you guys, for hosting. Sister Michelle, I'll always call you Michelle.
That's all right. I love that name too.
Thank you. Queen Adoni, what you're doing, as I told you, is so essential. And I believe that we are coming into a phase of having to bring the Elizabeth sisterhood to another level of work. What's been going on the last 2 years? 2 years or 3 years now?
It's 2
years.
Third year.
2 plus. Yeah. And so it's really been impactful. And I believe that what you all are doing, sound conservancy. We are creatures of sound. We were created by the word. We were created by sound.
Frequency, vibration.
Yes. So I believe that you all, along with Baba Ray and Sister Edwana, I believe you all have a very central role. Want to invite you all the Elizabeths. I don't think I did a good job of reaching out to you all this year about the health fair. The health fair is Saturday, August 24th this year. I'd love to see you all do a gorge something, showing the people how to do what we do and what to do so that we can go to the next level. I believe that those of us who need the experience, putting the beads on it or whatever, and getting the instructions of when to set them out and,
Yeah.
when to take those next steps. I believe that something really powerful can take place at the health fair that God is calling on you all to do for
Yeah.
our people. I
When is
asked
the
that
health fair?
Saturday, August 24th. I'll post a link
Oh,
in the
great.
chat so you guys can register. Registration is open still just for a little while. July 1st was the deadline, but I'm still working on putting the promotional material together. So you got a little time.
Hmm.
If you can get your registration in this week so we can have a count of who all we need to accommodate, and I trust that, who all I am wants to be there will be there. I'm still calling for Harold's I am song. I know I mentioned it to
Yeah, I
you
have to go
almost
into that storage and go through all them boxes. There's like boxes on every side, everything I could find in the basement. I hope that it was not one of the stuff that was underwater.
well,
So,
if I am wants it to come forth and when it will, I know, I trust, I have not forgotten that, what he
I remember that. I remember
right
him
there.
composing that. Yeah.
And I remember hearing it right there in the house, and
Yes.
I had just become an I am at that time. So that's been 40 some years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Mm.
anyway, I will post the link for the health fair in the chat. Um, and well, is that okay, Queen Adoni?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And so I'm hoping, I see, I sense, I feel there's something that I am wants you all to do at the health fair with that represents the conservancy of sound and the rebirth of our inner selves through sound. Um, Thank you, Sister Sister Edwana, for doing what you all did last year. People still remember it. So anyway,
Wow.
I won't keep yapping. I'm putting the link in there now, and thank you so much. You all's work, our work, is so essential for the healing of our people, the restoration of our people. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ew.
that
Keisha?
divine feminine, that's what it is.
Oh yeah. Lakeisha, are you on mute, babe?
Yes, I was wondering, would there be vendors at that event? Like I have
Yes,
a health and wellness company.
Hmm.
yes, most definitely. So I'm putting a link in there right now. Register with us ASAP. If it could be by this weekend, that would be awesome. But I know I'll still be working on putting some things together next week. Those who are not in by this time next week, may not get in on the printed promotional material, but we'll still, as long as we have space, we're not going to say no to anybody. But I'm just asking you all to sign up as soon as possible, please. And thank you so much for all that you all bring to our people, for our healing, health, wellness, growth, you know, for us to all leap together so that we can soar.
Yeah.
Yes. Hallelujah. God
So,
bless y'all. Thank you.
how much is vending?
You just have to donate a $25 value item. But if you are performing a service, you come into the category of a provider, and there is no fee for providers. So if you all what you all do with the gourds, um Queen Evelyn, we didn't ask you for anything at all last year, did we?
No, no, I
Yeah,
did
because you were
make and
performing a
take.
service. You were doing
Yeah.
make and take. So if
Mhm.
you're performing a
Oh.
service, there is no fee. But
Mhm.
if you
Hmm.
are just offering goods that relate to health and wellness, then we just ask you to donate an item that's at least a $25 value that we can give away. That's all.
Okay. Did you
Thank
still
you.
did you want me to do a make and take? Because that would be
Yeah,
a busy weekend because that's like yours and then the next day is Hug Detroit, isn't it?
it
Yeah,
sure is. It sure
Yeah.
is. But yeah, that's probably why you didn't respond to the emails yet. Because you probably were like not trying to overload you. When you saw that date, you probably like, no.
Well,
But
I'm thinking it'd probably be pretty easy because I'll just keep the car packed. I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
okay.
I
Well, yeah,
wouldn't have
because you
the
are
car.
on the list. You are on the list from last year. You have received a
Yeah,
couple of
okay. I'll
emails. Yeah.
respond to it. I think I definitely, but I will be putting out a donation box.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, we
if that's okay.
we have to ask about that because we've never done that.
Okay,
Because we actually don't have anybody that we pay for.
okay,
Um, yeah, we don't actually. Everyone who does what they do at the health fair is either they're volunteering their service or they got sponsors who are, like, the health department or Carmanos or, any of
okay.
those.
Well, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Please ask
yeah,
about
we,
if that's okay, because it's yeah, it keeps me being able to purchase the supplies. So
so, and then in that case, we would, I know part of that answer would be, well, if they're a vendor, because that will come into the category of like vendoring, because people on site, Love Rose and
oh, that was
um,
pretty.
Kim Madison, sales did occur. So it should not be an issue, you know, to ask for a donation because vendors last year who donated an item also did have sales.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I got an item I can donate. I mean, yeah, that's no problem.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no problem.
hallelujah. Thank you all for all that you do. Do you all see the link in the chat?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, my loves. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. Bless you.
Mhm. Yeah, it is 7:54, 9:54. Ooh, where I get 7 from? Anyway, I wanted to touch on getting a road trip together to go to the Gourd Festival and if there's a possibility. And you said it's like the last weekend or the first weekend in October or when
Yeah,
did
they kind of I think COVID really decimated it, but it's usually the first weekend of October. So let me just do a quick Google and see if I can find because they should have their stuff out by now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's the Ohio Gourd Society,
Hmm.
and since they're the ones and people come from down south, so they have really good gourds.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, how do you spell gourd? Yeah, right. G-O.
You
When are you doing a class?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely doing a class, but I
Where,
guess we need to find out if we can find some gourds for people who don't have gourds. Um, I don't know if
Yeah, because they can
there's
be pretty expensive when you order them online.
let me,
that's true.
it say,
Oh,
it's
it's Friday, October
where
4th.
2 or 3 are gathered. It shall be done. Jahra,
All right now.
me and you. Then we tell everybody up. We set a date. You can do it at my shop. We set a date. We tell them, and those who have it will show up. Just put
Okay.
it out there. We don't
All
know.
right.
We don't know who would know that I had this, except
That's right.
for and
Well, that Ohio Gourd Show, if you want to do a trip there, it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in October. So that's the first weekend. So they went back to their first weekend.
Hmm.
first week in October.
Yep. So that'd be something. And then if we could do something at your shop, that would be very helpful. I guess the thing would be to find out what's a good day for everyone. For me, it probably would be a Saturday or a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
The weekends are better. So if
How long does it take?
I'll,
Is it just one setting or does it take, how long does it take?
well, I'd say that if we did like a series of 6 uh, uh, meetings, and that in each meeting would be a couple of hours, You
Okay.
know, we could the first meeting we could wash the gourds, cut them, start the beating process, and decide what pattern you're going to do. And I can just show you what Mo showed me. But the thing is that it takes a while to beat these gourds. And but meanwhile, while we're beating them, I would be teaching you songs and stories and rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I bet you Queen, she thinking about a flyer right now. I already know. I already know.
I'm blocking out some time on Saturdays. Okay, okay. Or
Oh, yeah.
you said or
Yeah,
Yay
that
for
would be Saturdays would be
Saturdays.
really excellent. That's probably the best day because I deal with my mother mostly on Sundays.
Mhm.
Yay for
Yeah.
Saturdays afternoon. I'm asking for 3, 4.
Uh, Saturday.
I'm,
Yeah.
See,
3 or
Yeah.
and so
4.
I'm gonna put my
Saturday is yeah. But you said for you, Jahra, you said Sunday afternoons is the best, right?
No, she
no
says
Saturdays
Saturday
Saturdays
is
are the
best
best.
No, because you deal with your mom. Okay. So
on
Yeah, I deal
Sunday.
with mom on Sundays
okay.
because I'm her cook.
Oh,
And I visit and we clean things and make sure she has her shower. And, you
Yeah.
know, gotta take care of the moms.
How old is
yes.
how old is she?
She's 94 now. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Such a
so
blessing.
it is a blessing. Well, I put my my contact information in the chat. So
Yes.
and
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so
So
I would like
this
to
is
get you all to email me like if you decide to do it, then I need to go out and get some supplies. And so I would need you to cash at me something and so I can get the string and the cord and but I would probably want you to buy your beads because the beads have certain colors that have different frequencies and vibrations.
Mhm.
And you would need to pick for yourself what the colors are on your gourd are. That I can't do that. You'd have to go and get the pony beads from the beauty supply or you get it from wherever you can go. I was going to Dobbles, but he's very expensive
Mhm.
because his beads are old. And I'm so sorry they knocked down the beautiful artwork that was on the street. They knocked down
No,
part of
he
his building.
didn't.
The city did it a couple days ago. Yes.
Oh.
So I don't even know if he's open. But anyway, he's also be a source for some beads. I got some African glass beads that were very old from him.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but he charged me like I think 50 cents a bead, and I wanted 300. So it
Oh,
gets pretty expensive.
we'll
So,
talk. You and I will
okay.
and we'll figure everything out and then we'll put
Okay.
it in.
Can
And
I share something real quick, please? The Sabbath aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
There
Oh,
is
you
a
can't work on the Sabbath. Oh,
no, what we're doing is Sabbath work.
yes, it is.
So for those who can't work on the Sabbath, I mean, it's not necessarily even work. It's a Sabbath activity to me, for me. So I don't know what insight we could, highlight about that, if any. Just something I wanted to make sure we don't overlook.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, because that is a sacred for me it's like a meditation, but I don't know, if that would fit your parameter of that.
Or it's not just me, each person who has a Sabbath consideration. There's so many
Right.
different perspectives on that. But for me, it would be a Sabbath type activity. So yeah, I wouldn't have any reason not to come. I'm not uh um I don't observe the Sabbath as intentionally as some do. It's just in the back of my mind, as
Mm-hmm.
I go do things that people would say you don't do on the Sabbath. So
Ah, okay, got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all. Oh my goodness. This has been truly enlightening and so inspirational. I am so thankful for you, Jahra. So thankful for you to be one of my
Thankful for all of you.
friends. And I look forward to the classes. Oh my goodness. Yes. We stepping out into 2024, y'all. This is
Yes.
about to be on and popping for the rest of our lives. I'm telling you, on and popping.
Yeah.
We are shining brightly, and anybody who can't stand it better put on some shades. Okay. All right. Okay. So it is 10:03. You want to say something, Queen?
Let's look at October, Jahra. We got time.
Okay.
And then if we're going to go to the
Gourd Festival.
that would be good.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be perfect.
Information about what we were about to go and do. We can do things. Well, we'll talk. I want to announce that tomorrow, I'm going to play a video from this sister named why did I just Pam, what's her name? Erin Lyons. Erin.
Okay, that happens to me too.
Yeah, Erin Lyons. I think it's about 40 something minutes. So we're gonna get in and get going, because what she's going to share with the community, it's
Wow.
mind
Expanding, huh?
because I don't want to say blowing. It's expanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if she really gets down, she is a what do you call those people that channeler?
Oh, she channels. Wow.
She's deep. She's deep.
She connected.
Yeah.
She's connected.
Deep. She's deep. I'm telling you. And it's here to break through in our life of being the fullness of who we are. And it's not a black message, a white message. It is a holy message of who we are that will give us some wherewithal to break through of wherever we are stopped. Makes so much sense that it's like, oh my but Jesus, oh my but Mary, oh my but Lakeisha, whatever. I'm telling you, so I'm going to play it tomorrow, and of course you would have access. I'm not going to put it in there now because I want you to come and join in so that we can have some conversations about it. But you want to follow the sister, just as Lakeisha, when I talked about what's his name? What's the other guy's name I said?
Bashar.
Abraham. She channels Abraham as well.
What's her name again?
Her name is
Erin Lyons.
Erin, ERIN and LYONS. Young lady. She's a young and whole different take on life.
Okay.
Hey. Will you have the information of how we can support that? You say you have there's an event that she's going to be channeling at?
No, I'm bringing her on tomorrow. Not her physically, but one of her videos. She's all on YouTube, all on it.
And it's called Abraham?
No, okay, do you know Abraham Hicks?
Yes, I've heard of Abraham Hicks.
Okay, so Abraham is who Esther Hicks channels. And it's a group,
a group of souls.
Yeah. And so she does that, and some other beings from another planet, or and source as well, and has been doing this since she was a child. And so I mean, I'm listening to a lot of people. One lady, she doesn't even separate. When she was born, there was no, she remembered everything. So she didn't understand, it was like common, just like, Pam walks down here and I'm talking, and then I'm talking to you, human, but she could walk in and out of the room like that until something else happened in her life and she had access to everything. It was just she's sharing her experience. And so those
Oh.
that Aaron brings on, and there's a brother that matter of fact, it'll be from him. No, not this one. Anyway, it's good. It's good. It is really giving me a whole different look of life forever and ever. As Bashar talks about how, like in the Matrix, things are happening all along. We're in parallel. We think that this is it. This is it. They talk about the earth and why we are here in a different way than you're in school and you're having all these problems because you're in this earth school, but how other worlds look at us. We are there. One of them said we are like their what's this, the school when you watch TV and it's reality.
Reality TV. You're playing this? You're playing one of these at a certain time tomorrow?
Videos tomorrow, same time, 9 to 10.
Oh.
Yeah, and I encourage you, and of course, I'll post it after because I want you to come. I don't want you to just watch it, and I want us to watch it together. Mind opening, spirit opening, that is more than just us. But how do we operate in the fullness of our I am? In the fullness of the I am that we are. We are, I am. That's the song, right? We are, I am.
That's wonderful. Wow.
Okay, all right.
What's
Close us out.
Yep, let's hug ourselves. And if you want to kiss yourself, that's good too. And we're going to hug the world. We're going to hug it and we're going to give it love and light in all the dark places,
Yes,
And we're going to sprinkle all the goodness and love and light that we can muster in everything we do, in every place we go, in every place we be.
Yes.
Everybody have a great day.
You too. Love you, my sisters.
Love you all.
Thank you so much.
Love you all much.
Thank you.
Love you too.